All right, looks like I am live here. Um, got a couple of people on already, so grab your drink and let's buckle in. Let me know if you can hear and see everything okay. I have a few different angles here that we're going to be using today. Hopefully, the whole new setup I'm going with today. So hopefully this works okay. I have my in-ears in, and I can't hear myself talking, but it looks like the mic is picking me up. So as long as you guys can hear me, and let's let me turn my volume down. I got my iPad going over here too. I have a few different so I can see if anybody posts anything in the chat, but I don't want the volume on. All right, stream health, excellent condition on the stream. All right, so what I want to do today, it's going to be a little difficult with the in-ears, because it's going to keep falling out of my pocket. What I want to do today is, I'm guessing many people like me kind of stuck home or staying home as instructed, and that's what we should be doing so we can get through this. Just basically want to come on here and just have some fun. Try to create a preset on the Line 6 Helix from scratch and see where we end up, and we'll just go from there. One thing I do want to update, if you follow me, you subscribe, you watch my videos. One of my recent videos showed my new pedal board build, which is let's see, right there, and I'm using the Synergy stuff for the amplification. Now I went from the head to the Syn 2, which is the 2 module rack. And another video I posted, I was having a lot of trouble with the MIDI. There was something wrong with the MIDI. I was going back and forth with Peter at Synergy, and we really couldn't figure out what was going on. And Line 6 has been helping too, and they're trying to figure it out. But long story short, I sent the Syn 2 back to Musician's Friend. I'm pretty sure I had a faulty unit because no matter what we tried, I couldn't get the single channel MIDI to work. So what I did was I bought a used Syn 1, which is the tabletop version. It only takes 1 module. And if you've never seen the modules, here is the Friedman, the BBBE module. These things just kind of slot right into the Synergy stuff, and it's got a tube inside here. It's got a tube inside the what you're putting this into, whether it be the head. The head has all tubes, but the Syn 2 has a tube in it, and the Syn 1 has a tube in it. So it is tube based, but I'm able to go direct with it. Yeah, just say hi in the chat if you're here so I can make sure everybody's getting this. And the reason I keep looking over this way is because I set up I got a 55-inch monitor to the right of me here, so I can focus on the Helix to HX edit on my main screen here on my iMac. And over there I have all the video stuff going, and I'm able to see all different kinds of things. So yeah, so I'm waiting on, it's supposed to be shipped out today. I'm waiting on the Syn 1, and I realized I don't need 2 modules or 4 channels for what I do. I can get by with just one of these, and then using the Helix to really push whatever sound I'm going for. All right, so let's get started. I would love some feedback on this as we're going. And sorry, my watches are constantly going off. Excuse me. All right, so what I have on the screen here is really I've been working on this. We'll go through this first, and then we'll start building from scratch. Need a drink first, though, because that's why we're here. It's a coffee stream. I know you're going to say the way I say coffee. I don't say coffee, I say coffee. I'm in Rhode Island. Give me a break. That's good. Yeah, so this is a preset I've been working on. And this is my live backup, one of them anyway. I'm gonna do a bunch of them and see which ones when I do finally get to go with the band again, which one is going to sound right for what I need to do and which one sounds better. So let's just go through this really quickly. Clean sound. I'm using, I believe for the clean, I'm using the arch type on both of these for both of my sounds here. So the clean, you're gonna get the strings clanking on here, just because I really don't feel like going back and forth and turning off mics and turning them back on because I'll forget. And I'm also using, let me switch back over. I'm also using my old trusty reliable 24 fret Fender. I believe it's the I can't remember what series this is, but 24 fret. It's got the Floyd on it. It's got DiMarzio pickups. And it's my main go-to guitar. Let's switch back. So this is my clean. And as you can see, my signal path is very simple. We'll start the input. I always have the noise gate on, no matter what, because when it gets to the high gain stuff, I don't like hearing any of that hiss. Some guys don't care. I do. So I just have, on the first one, I just have a simple volume pedal just to go in and out. For the wah, I have the throaty model, and I don't really touch any of this stuff. It sounds good as it is. Now on the clean channel, I just have the LA Studio compressor, and again, another thing I don't touch at all. Most of these stomps, and I said this, I did a live stream to the Facebook group the other day. Most of these stomps, I think Line 6 really nailed as far as the default settings. To me, just sound what I like. So I don't really move much on these things. The only ones I do, and they're coming up here. So I have a phaser. I use the script phaser in mono. The rate I'll put down to around 1, and I go for that Van Halen vibe. The flange is the same thing. I go for the Van Halen vibe. I got the rate at 1, and I put the regeneration all the way up. You can, adjust that to taste. And let's see. For distortion, I use the Minotaur, and I put the level all the way up because I like to give it a little kick. I keep the tone a little about halfway. The gain I have set here with the controller. So on the clean, I can actually so if I need a dirty channel on the clean, while I'm on the clean, I can easily do that. But yeah, the gain on that is set to around 3.23. I don't go really crazy with that stuff. And then you got the amp, which this is going to be up later. So if you want to go back and check these settings, if there's something that, you hear that you like, you can just go and copy this. We'll stay away from the dirty amp for now. Then I go down to the second path, and I always have a gain block with a plus 3.5 dB in there, and that's mainly so no matter what snapshot I'm on, I can kick in if I want to solo on that. I don't have to worry about the sound guy turning me up. I can always boost myself. So if you can hear, let's see if you can. I'm not sure if you're going to hear the difference. So that's with normal, and kicking in that gain block. Off, on. So again, that's on every snapshot that I have. The way I approach this, normally I would set the Helix up in 4 snapshots on the bottom, and then I'd have the top 4 for stomps to turn on and off. And then if you go into, you hit the mode switch, you can see all the stomps. This one I want to do 8 snapshots, but I've only got 4 written down so far. I'm not sure. The top 4 might be like specialty kind of snapshots where this is turning on and that's turning on at the same time, and it's all in that one snapshot, rather than going into stomp mode and having to turn on two different pedals or two different stomps at the same time. All right, just sorry, I know I keep looking over here. I'm just checking to see everything's running good. No drop frame so far. Hoping if you're here, please let me know if because YouTube is telling me that my current bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. All right, well, I'm not going to worry about that right now. I really need you guys out there that are watching just to tell me in the chat whether or not the video is kind of jittery or if all is okay, because on my end it looks good. All right, so let's go to the crunch. I want to kind of blow through these because I want to start spending some time just building something from scratch. So crunch. That's the crunch, and we'll go to the amp. That's also the archetype, and you can see the settings. The drive's down at 2.3. I always put the mids up. I dropped the treble and presence a little bit. I did bring the master up, I believe, on this one, and I always bring the sag way down. I don't know why. I really don't hear a difference with the sag control, so I just put it down. And I also forgot to show you, I'm using two different impulse responses. Somebody just, hey man, what's up? Good, it looks good there. Okay, cool. Sound is good, all that stuff. Thanks for checking in. So I'm using two different impulse responses, and I think I did this on the Facebook group. I'm using the ML Sound Labs Miko. I'm using a V30 with a 57 here. I cut the highs down to about 15 on this, but I bring the low cuts to about 100 because the V30's got a little bit more round end than the other speaker, which is the same Miko. These are the Friedman models, by the way. The 25-watt greenback, I have a 50. I just love a 57. And this one, I bring the high cut down to around 10 just because it's got the greenbacks have a little bit more sizzle on it. And I don't touch the low cut because the greenbacks to me are really they don't really have a big bottom end to them. So by using both of these and then just cutting the low on the V30, I get a sound that I'm happy with. Sounds good too. Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, so that's the combination I'm using now. So when we start building the preset from scratch, I'm not sure what we're gonna do. Right now, all I have loaded into this Helix is the Friedman ML Sound Lab pack. So either we go with those or we're gonna go with stock cabs. All right, so let's switch over to the high gain. Now the high gain is pretty much the same setting as the crunch, but I add in the Minotaur and the gain. I bring the gain down. If you remember, it was at 3.2 on the clean. With the control, I bring it down to 1.1 because obviously I don't need a ton of gain because there's already a lot of gain there. So this is just kind of pushes it a little bit more. Richard Poole, what's going on, man? Thanks for stopping in. So you get the point. You get the basis of it. It's my crunch channel with the Minotaur on, and that's that. Now delays, and everything else here is the same. As you notice, the compressor goes off when I go to the crunch and the high gain, and also my lead. Delay, I do have the mix on a controller, so for the crunch, my rhythm stuff, it's down to about 11%. I leave everything else. Trail's always on, and feedback around 20. Now, if I switch back to the clean, you'll notice the mix goes up to 20%. I just like having a little bit more. Then I have a second delay, and I just use a simple delay. I don't go crazy with delays. The simple delay is going to give me, and I mentioned this the other day, when I turn it on, it's going to just give me another delay that it's just more pronounced. So it does what a delay does. It just more. And that's it. I mean, I'm not going to go through the lead channel just because it's basically the high gain one with the gain block at 3.5 dB up. So you're going to know it's just going to be louder. But let me just check one thing. So the delay, let's see, on the lead. So that high one is off. So this delay on the lead goes to 20%, just like the clean, just because I like more. So you can hear that. Let me just check here, make sure what's going on here. Okay, good, good, good. Everything is good. All right, so what do you say we, whoever is here, I know there's at least a few people here. What do we say we start from scratch and start a new preset? Let me go down, go here. There we go. New preset. So I'm going to leave the Helix in the 8 snapshots mode right now. If we want to change it later, we can change it. And again, it's still morning, so take your drink and that's good. All right, now as I said, I always have the input gate on. Just something I do. You don't need to do this. And I always change the first output to path 2A because I know I'm going to add a ton of shit in here. All right, so the first thing I usually do is way down the end of the first path here. I always start with an amp block. And I want to let's do a preset where we can, when I'm only going to use 1 amp instead of using a clean and a dirty. Let's just use 1 amp that we can get kind of both out of that. So I'm gonna go for the let's try the placator, because you know I love the Friedman stuff. Let's go for the placated dirty. All right, so obviously this is gonna sound terrible because we have no cab. Right, you guys know that. You like the high gain stuff? Awesome. Like I said, you can go back and if you want to try to duplicate this with settings, with your own settings, go right ahead. All right, so we have the placator. I'm not going to touch any of the amp controls here yet. The one thing I want to do is I want to turn the sag all the way down. As I mentioned before, I don't hear a difference when I bring the sag up or down. We'll leave the C45 on for now, the mod, and we'll leave everything where it is. Then I usually like putting, other than a looper at the very end, I'll usually put my cabs there. So just for the sake of, this is the Line 6 Helix, why don't, and this way you guys, if you don't have that ML Sound Labs Friedman pack, let's just do the internal stock cabs. I am partial to either the V30 or the greenback. Let's hear the greenback first. And let's hear the V30. Where is it? Well, that has, let me change the mic on the V30 to 57. Let me hear that greenback again. You guys that are here, if you want to just type in the chat which one of those two that you prefer. I want to get, feedback and suggestions on this and kind of go from there instead of me putting in what I like. I want to see what you guys like. So here's the 25 again. And here is the V30. But I want to change that mic because that sounds muddy to me. I prefer the greenback. Let me know what you guys like. But for now, I'm going to go with the greenback, and I'm going to try to fix some stuff here. They have the low cut at around 80, the high cut at 8, so I think that's pretty good. All right, so let's leave that there, and I'm going to go back to, and I'm going to save this. We'll call this YouTube preset 01. 01. I'll save it. All right, so I want to go back to the amp. Make sure everything's running okay over there. Oh, we got a few more people pop on. Say hello. Sound coming through is much lower than your mic, so it's hard to hear a discernible difference between both cabs. All right, let me go back to the cabs. See, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for feedback. I can't tell on my end. So let me bring, I'm going to bring my mic down here, and I'll bring the guitar up. All right, so let's go. This is the 25 again. Guitar's out a little bit. That's the 25. And we'll go to the V30 again, but putting the mic to a 57. Joe Harvey, more metal. We'll get some metal. So how is that as far as, and I am, you know what I notice? I'm talking louder because, again, I'm wearing in-ears, and I'm not hearing my voice through the in-ears, so it's making me think that I'm not talking loud enough. So I have to remember that. Yeah, so is that better as far as the volume of my voice to the volume of the guitar? Here's my voice and here's the guitar. I want to tune this guitar too while you guys are letting me know about that. Something weird is going on with my tuner here. I think I had a glitch in the tuner, guys. Hey, Quentin, long time. You got your presets on the Line 6 preset. Yeah, I'll definitely check those out. All right, so again, how is the ratio from my voice volume to the guitar volume? Any better? I still can go up on the guitar, but I don't want to, if I put it at 0, and the more I play that V30, I kind of like that too, but I'm going to go back to the 25 now. All right, Quentin says it's much better, and I trust his input, so we'll stick with that, with those levels. I'll keep an eye on the meters over there. Much better now before I could hear your strings more. Yeah, I think I don't know what time you got in here, but I'm not turning my external vocal mic on and off like I normally would, just because it's just a pain in the ass to do that. But I'm glad that it's better now. All right, so what do you guys think? The 25 or the V30? 25. Hey, what's up, Aaron? There's the 25 and the V30 again, but I gotta switch the mic because I don't like that ribbon. Aaron's saying a little more vocal. You want me to turn the vocal up, or you're hearing the vocal more? I keep forgetting this is on like a 7-second delay, so yeah. So we're trying to decide between the V30 or the 25, the greenback. We're using the Placator Dirty. I prefer the greenback. All right, Weston Lawless likes the V30. I'm gonna, Aaron, turn what up, the guitar or turn up the vocal? The guitar is pretty much all the way up. I can turn the Helix up more, but I'm afraid I'm gonna kind of go into clipping here. But let me turn the Helix up to halfway. And that, that just reminded me. So when we were using my preset that I was kind of showing you guys earlier, I forgot that I have the output on that preset louder. So starting from scratch, I don't have that up as loud. Let's crank the gain, bro, and play some metal. I think you got the wrong guy for metalcore, but I appreciate you coming on here. Quentin says turn up the vocal now. Okay. Vocal is now turned up. How's that? Too much guitar. But Quentin, the problem is if I turn the vocal up, it's going to pick up the strings on the guitar. And if I turn the vocal down, apparently you're not hearing me talk. All right, so let's go to the V30 because we had someone say that they liked the V30. Much better, all good, okay. All right, I think we're all on the same page here. So vocal's okay, the guitar's loud enough. I'm on V30, I'm using the 57 mic. All is good now. Awesome. All right, cool. I think what the problem was is this has to catch up to you guys in the stream after I make these changes. Again, we're here in the morning. Grab your drink. Here we go. All right. So now I want to go back to the Placated Dirty and mess around with these settings. To me, the drive is too much because we're going to need to use this as a clean too. Let's turn the drive down. So my what I'm trying to do here is use 1 amp for clean, dirty, and heavy. So with with the clean, I'm gonna just roll my guitar volume down and switch to the middle pickup position, which is a blend of my both of my pickups on this guitar. Kind of like that. I don't know what you guys think. Oh, that's not familiar. You guys have you're having your conversation there. That's cool. We're here for a hangout, but I'll keep checking to see who's. All right, so now we got one guy that likes the V30. We got a couple of guys that don't. So let me hear the. I'm gonna go back to the cab, and I'm going to switch to the 25 and hear what the clean sounds like on that. So I like the 25. So I'm gonna go with the 25 for now. On this amp, I like taking the bass down. Just personal preference. Bass down. I usually put the mids around 7.5 to 8, and I bring the presence and the treble down. Now I've owned a BE 100, very very bright amp. So I'm just going by what I remember from that amp. So turning those down. To me, that already sounds better. Aaron is asking what's happening with the Synergy. I gave a little update at the beginning, but long story short, could not figure out the MIDI situation with the Syn 2. I think I had a faulty unit. Sent that back to Musician's Friend for full refund. They should have it this Wednesday. I'll get refunded. And I found somebody on the Synergy Facebook group that was selling a Syn 1. I got a pretty good deal on it, and he's shipping it out today. So I'm going from the Syn 2 to the Syn 1. Hopefully this is not confusing. And getting the Helix again made me realize I don't need 2 module spaces that I had in the Syn 2, because I can get by with the BBBE module and not have to use the HBE, because with the Helix I can get as much gain as I need to out of the BE using the overdrive. So Joe, hi. I like you, Joe. All right, cool. We're gonna stick with the 25. Joe says, when in doubt, crank the gain and play faster. Dude, when I was like 19, 20, all I wanted to do was play faster, and that's all I did. And now that I'm a lot older, I can't play fast anymore, because I just stopped doing it. And doing the Bon Jovi thing, I don't really have to play really fast all the time, so my chops are just not there anymore. Aaron, yeah, 2 channels. So and plus what I like about the Syn 1 is that it's a lot more portable. Like with the Syn 2, I had to have it in a rack, and I had a 2-space rack case for it with a Furman power conditioner. But with the Syn 1, well, go back to the Syn 2. When my band does fly dates, I was going to have to take the Syn 2 out of the rack and probably either put it in my suitcase with my clothes or something, just to get it to my gig and be able to have my tone. With the Syn 1, being that it's this small, tabletop enclosure, I don't have to take it out of a rack. First of all, I can still put it in the suitcase and check that, because I'm carrying my guitars on. And if you notice back there, let me switch the camera. If you notice, I have the Helix backpack now, so I can pop the Helix off of the board when I have a fly gig or fly date. Throw that in the backpack, and I think I can actually fit the Syn 1 in that backpack too, and then carry that on the plane. And then if you notice on the board here, I have the, where is it there? I have the talk box, because obviously with Bon Jovi I need it. I have a backup talk box, so that will also come. That might actually even fit in that thing too. That backpack is great. If not, that'll go into the suitcase. So I'll have my tone wherever I go. And again, the Helix is also my backup amp, which is what we're doing here. We're making presets that if the Synergy goes down, I have a backup amp. We got a lot of people typing stuff in here. Quentin likes the 25. Weston Lawless likes the 25. Joe Harvey likes the Fizz. Yeah, Joe, the same way. I'm using less gain and playing like more bluesy stuff, just the way it is. Helix hype. All right, let's get back to this. So we're on the channel volume. I'm gonna leave the volumes where they are because we seem to have a good. You guys are saying I got good levels here. The fat, I don't really. Even when I had the amp, I didn't really use that because it. To me, it just makes it flubby. Yeah, I like it with the off. Now let's try the well, if you want to put the HBE on, we want to add some gain here. Let's see. Yeah, so the HB, I really don't need that. We can get that with overdrive pedals. Let's try the C45 off. I have it on. I like the C45 on, and when I had the head, I always had that on. Quentin, I need to put some of my presets on the Line 6 free site. I will. I just got this Helix again, literally like a week ago, and haven't really had a chance to, really dive into it. That's why I wanted to do this morning to play around with this more, get more familiar with it, get ideas and suggestions from you guys out there that probably have a Helix, and even if you're watching this after it's when it's not live anymore and it's just on my YouTube channel, please comment and let me know. I'm always looking for tips and pointers on this stuff. So I'm hoping to get some stuff in the marketplace too. I got to talk to, once I get some stuff built up, talk to the guys at Line 6. And anybody here that is liking this, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. I'll try to remember this at the end. I always forget to say that lately. It's just a lot of other stuff going on, as you all know. But yeah, subscribe to this. I'm going to try to keep pumping some of this content out. I'm not as prolific as some of these other guys on here where, it's 2 videos a day coming out, but I wish I could. I just don't have the time to do that. All right, so I think the amp, I'm happy with that. I don't know if anybody would make a suggestion on any of these. I'm going to bring the bass down to 1. So I'm still hearing. You got to remember, I know we all love these big monstrous guitar sounds, and we want them to sound fat and huge. But if you're playing with a band, you're going to be competing too much with the bass player, and you don't want to do that. You don't want the guitar to sound too thin, but you don't want to be stepping on the bass player. And if you have, especially if you have another guitar player in the band, like we do, he's got a more low end tone than I do, and I'm kind of in the mids to because I do a lot of the solos and leads. So he kind of sits back and he helps the bass player as far as the bottom end goes. Hey, Bobby's here. What's going on, man? Glad you can make it. Let's have a toast. I don't know where you are, but it's morning here, so it's it's about 11:45, almost noontime, but you can still drink this stuff. I have not left my house probably in about 2 weeks now, my property, other than going just a couple of small stops. I'm trying to obey the guidelines, and I'm hoping you guys are doing that too, because what's going on out there really sucks right now, and it's not going to get better if everybody is still, like you see on the news, these people are just, hundreds of people going to the big box stores. Like, why are you doing that? Like, you don't see what's happening, I guess. So all right, back into this. All right, so we'll go with that. I forgot to show the output. I usually don't touch because I leave it at multi, because depending on the gig, if I'm usually running 4-cable method with the Synergy, and like I said, if something happens and I need to go to the Helix, a backup preset, I just grab the XLR out of the back of the Synergy and just plug it into the Helix, and I'm good to go from there. All right, so usually the next thing that I do is I'll look for a reverb. Now, probably going through YouTube like this. I have this set up in stereo, but when I'm playing live, everything's in mono because my rig is in mono. Usually the PA system's in mono, and using stereo, unless you have a stereo setup on stage, going stereo really doesn't. You don't really need to do that. Hold on, my daughter is texting me right now. All right. So yeah, so I usually go write these in mono. If I'm recording, like if I'm using Logic or something on my Mac, then yeah, I'll use Helix Native and I'll go stereo with the stuff so I can hear if the ping pong delays going back and forth or whatever. But we're gonna approach this as a live preset right now. So let's go to the reverbs. We're gonna stay mono, and I am partial to the legacy stuff, and I like plate reverb. So I'm gonna start there. I turn the trails on. I always have them on. See, to me, and I'm not a big reverb guy, so I'm gonna bring this mix down. Kind of like that. I'm going to leave the decay way up at 7, and if we end up doing other snapshots, then I can just use a controller to bring the mix up or down. But for a rhythm, not too bad. So I'm going to save this. If anybody wants me to try a different reverb or setting, just put it in the chat, and I'll be happy to try that. So after that, so we're doing snapshot 1. So let's approach snapshot 1 as, I'm going to rename it to clean. So let's so for the clean, I think I'm going to need a little bit more it's going to need a little bit more reverb. You know what's funny about YouTube? Now, sorry to go off track here, but I went live around 11 o'clock Eastern time this morning, and I just got the notice at almost noon that, hey, Rich Antonelli's live right now. Like, why did they wait an hour almost to send that out? There'd probably be a lot more people here. But I can't figure YouTube out. All right, so I'm going to set a controller on the mix. If those of you that are watching this that know how to do that in HX Edit, just click over here, bypass controller assign, and make sure you have the reverb or whatever you're trying to control highlighted. And just click on this here, and I'm going to select mix. And the controller, since I'm using snapshots, I'm going to choose snapshots as the controller. And I'm going to go back to edit. Now you'll see over here you got these, it turned white and there's those bars around it. That means that there is a controller on it. So for the clean, I said I want more reverb. So I'm going to bring the mix up to, let's try around 30, 31, whatever. So I kind of like that. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit, maybe 28. I'm going to save that. Dartboard, do you have a medium and large room reverb? I could try. Let's see. Let me shut this reverb off. I'll keep that there, and I'll add another one in. Add another one. For some reason, so you want a medium and large room reverb. All right, so let's go to the room. I'm going to turn the trails on. so you don't really hear it much. But if I turn, the mix is already at 40 something. If you bring the mix up anymore with that, it's not good. So let's bring this to K. So the room doesn't really give like as much as the plate does. It's actually not bad now. Is that what you were looking for? Let's try another one. Let's try actually I used to like the Cave. Let's try the Cave. That is a big reverb there. Yeah, you can hear that really well. Let me turn the decay down. Thank you, Bobby. So, who was asking about that medium and large room reverb? I'm not sure if that's what you were talking about. Let's try one more. Let's try the chamber. They all sound I know what we can try. Hold on. Let's go to the mono. Let's go to the glitz. That's pretty nice. So that's pretty nice too. Bring that decay down. That's kind of cool. I like that. Hopefully that answered your question. I hope I'm saying it right. Darboard. Darboard. Another drink. Everybody take a drink. I went down a little too quick. All right. So next, since we're working on the clean, now this is what I did it earlier with the preset I already had built. I always put a volume pedal up there, and I change this to I take it off of linear, because I noticed, and I'm pretty sure this is how it's supposed to be, when I use the pedal, there's too much of a cut from, if you have it all the way off and you're trying to slowly go up, I always feel like there's a jump if I'm using linear, and I think that's what it's supposed to be doing. So the pedal's not working yet, I believe, because we need to actually, I'm not going to do this yet. Hold on. Bypass expression toe. I'm going to put it in 2. And then there's a way on here. Darren. Oh yeah, Darren. Sorry, my fault. Volume position. Expression pedal 2. Okay. A lot of times I'll go into the controller. I'll just hit the learn and put it. And we should see this working now. Why is it not? It's not working. See, you can tell I haven't had the Helix for a while. You like my Star Wars shoes, by the way? Let me delete that. Go back to edit. If you guys want to help me out with this volume, I don't remember exactly. So on the Helix, I don't know if you can see the numbers. The numbers are moving. Is it working? It's showing as position 2. Why is that? Don't mind me right now. I'm just if anybody wants to chime in on why this volume isn't working. Usually when I put it in there, it just automatically. I need to turn that reverb back on. Alright, I'm going to go back to that. I'm not worried about that right now. So I have that volume in there. Usually have it on. It's not working. Alright, then I'll put a wah. Usually the throaty. Make sure it's off. Let's see if I turn this on. So the wah is working, and it is looks like it's assigned to number 1 here, expression 1. So I need to change that. Is there a way to change that? Throaty bypass. Yes, that's what we wanted. I want that to be 2. So the volume is going up and down, on and off, but I'm still getting. I wonder if I bring that. Doesn't really matter where it is. Alright, we're going to leave that for now. Try to figure that out later. So with a clean tone, I never used to use a compressor, but we're going to put one in because I know a lot of guys do. I like the Studio Comp. Again, the compressor, I just leave where it is. I don't change anything. If anybody has any settings I should try, I'm really not picky with this type of stuff. I usually use my guitar's volume knob as a compressor almost, and as a volume pedal, and as a, changing channels. Another drink. But I'm always open to suggestions. Alright, so we'll leave that on. Let's go to a chorus. Oh, first. So after the amp, I always put a gain block off, but if you were here earlier, 3.5 decibel boost, and that is for if I want to do a solo on whatever snapshot I'm in. After that, I'll let's do some modulation. let's do stereo. I know I said I'm making this a mono thing right now, but let's do stereo. Actually, let's do mono. Let's do mono, and just regular chorus here. Chorus, I usually generally don't mess with it. Let's try the 70s chorus. So which chorus you guys like? The regular chorus here or the 70s, the plastic chorus? Kind of like just the plain old chorus. Unless somebody says otherwise, I'm going to leave that there. That's only for my clean channel, clean snapshot, as is the compressor. We'll get those turned off after. Now I move on to delay. Again, we're going with mono, since this is for live use. Let's try let me see the transistor tape. The other thing I do usually is click way over here. I match it up so I can tap it. So my tap tempo on the Helix is trying to figure out why. Oh, there, I got my tuner back. All right. Part of the problem with having a detuner is keeping the guitar where it needs to be. Plus, these strings are really old. This is very exciting tuning the guitar here, but close enough. Alright, I gotta turn the trails on so when we're switching snapshots, you don't lose, it doesn't get cut off. So that's pretty good. I'm going to try to aim this down a little bit without breaking it. And I don't think that's possible. No. See, there's a little bit too much. So feedback I want to bring down. So about 35. And then the mix for the clean, let's try 30. Alright, so I'm happy with that delay. If anybody agrees or disagrees, let me know. It's getting to be lunchtime soon here, but I want to finish this. You know what I want to do too to make this even cleaner? I want to put a controller on the amp on the drive and via snapshots, just so I can in when I'm in clean channel here, or the clean snapshot, this is going to come down even more. So that's at full. If you notice, if you bring it down too far, you get you lose volume. So right around there, 1.1 is good, and that'll be just for the clean. So I'm still bringing my guitar volume down, but I don't have to do it as much, so I don't lose as much of the output on it. And it's not an ultra clean sound. The purpose of this preset is to just use 1 amp to get as clean as possible, but also get as heavy as possible with 1 amp. All right, cool. I'm not going to do the second delay now. We're just doing basic stuff. So on this clean, I mean, I think that's, I don't know what you guys think, but I think that's a decent clean with, you know, good reverb, good delay, good chorus, compressor. And if I want to, let me switch the mode here. So if I want to add a gain, add a solo, touch that, and it makes that a gain. We'll save it. So if I'm playing in my clean channel and I need to go louder, and why did that? All right, hold on. 3.5. Remember, 3.5. And there's my phone. I will call him back. Actually, it's my singer. All right, so let's go with that. So that's the clean. So now let's go over to snapshot 2. I don't want to keep you guys here too long here. So snapshot 2, we're going to rename this. We'll call it the ever famous crunch. All right, so on snapshot 2, we're going to turn off the compressor. We're going to turn off the chorus, and we're going to go to the delay, and we're going to make a controller on here as far as the mix goes for snapshots. So when I switch over from clean to rhythm, I can bring the mix down. Right now it's at 30% from the clean, so I want to bring this way down because I just like a little bit in the background. If you like that. I don't have my volume all the way up either. Alright, so let's leave that there. Also the reverb. We already have a controller on it, and it's at 13 right now. And what was it on the clean? It's at 28 on the clean and 13 on the crunch. So that's probably right where it needs to be. Yeah, Bobby, my phone is loud because I'm always leaving it like in another part of the house. And although I have an Apple Watch, it alerts me, but I just like, when I'm listening to podcasts and I'm doing stuff, I have the volume on the phone like all the way up, so everything gets loud. All right, so the reverb and the delay are okay. The cab is staying. The amp, now we remember we had the amp at 2.3, and then on the clean we brought it down. It should go down, yeah, to 1.1. So 2.3 is pretty much where I want to be. Yeah, that's more gain than Angus is going to use, but I'm not Angus, so I like it. So that's the rhythm channel, or the crunch channel, but I will also use, I love the phaser, so I'm going to go to modulation, mono, phasers. I go the Van Halen route in front of the amp, mono, script mod, and I leave everything where it is, but I usually bring the rate down to around 1, maybe 0.9. Let's see. I'm happy with that. That'll stay off, and that'll get assigned to, we can do it right now, that'll get assigned to, let's go here, all the way up, upper left, phaser, and we'll save it. So I can turn that on and off when I need to. Who Ninja, what's up? Alright, so then I have to, of course, add the flanger, and again, going the route of Mr. Van Halen. Mono in front of the amp. I use the gray. I usually, well, we can keep the rate where it is, but I always bring the regen up. Sometimes I'll go to 10. Let's keep it around, 8.5. And I want to put that there, so let me try this and see. I know I'm going to play this wrong, and there's probably not enough gain on it. Thanks, Darren. Let's see, I'm probably not playing this right. I haven't played this in a while. I'm saying I got giant feet, so I hit the phaser by accident, and I'm getting stuck on all kinds of cables back here. So let's try that again. So what I'm noticing there, I want to bring the regen all the way up and see what that sounds like. And I notice that my gain block is on. So yeah, so that's where I would normally keep it. I might change the rate a little bit depending on if I'm playing something like Unchained the wrong way. I'll listen every time I click that. You want that flanger, every time you click it on, you want that flanger to be in that sweeping motion, because I noticed a couple of times when I clicked on it, it just sounded like it was really bassy. It was just kind of like going like that, whereas you want it to, kind of be moving every time you hit it. So you got to find the right rate for that, depending on the speed you're playing it at. But I'm not doing Van Halen tribute band here, so let's leave that there. Save that. Now, we'll leave this as is for the crunch. We're going to be adding as we go along here. So now we're going to go to snapshot 3, and we're going to rename this. I usually call this high gain. And I got to make sure everything, so the solo block is on. I want that off. The chorus is still on, off. Turn that off. Turn the compressor off. Turn the phaser off. Turn the flanger off. The delay, I believe, is up too high for this channel, so that needs to come down. I think the other one was at around 13. and the reverb is 13, so that's good. And this amp drive should be 2.3, so we're good there. So now we want to, now's where the fun comes in with the overdrives. We want to add an overdrive here. And I am partial to the Minotaur. So right out of the box, so that's good, but I like to boost the level all the way up. I bring the tone down just a little bit, and I want to bring the gain down because I'm boosting the hell out of it. Now you can get the pinch. And if you're feeling there's too much fuzz on top of that, you can bring the tone down a little bit more, or you can add an EQ block somewhere, which I'm not a big fan of adding EQ blocks. Or you can go back to the cab and bring the high cut down even more. But I think that's my tone right there. I kind of like that. So the Minotaur, there it is. The gain's around 2, took the tone down, and I put the level all the way up. Now let's shut that off. And I always like to put another boost in there. Usually the kinky boost. And I'll leave the bright off, but I will put the boost on, and I'll, depending on the amp, let me see. If I bring the drive, bring the drive down, let me see what it sounds like. Alright, so that, I'll leave the drive weight. The kinky boost I use mainly just almost like a clean boost, which you can tell that the drive's all the way down and the boost is on. So when I want to stack those, I'll put the clean boost closer to the front of the amp as opposed to first in line. I don't know why, I just think that sounds better. But so if both of them are on, so when you're adding them both together, it's, you know, gives you a lot of gain, but it doesn't fuzz out really. A little bit. It's fuzzing out a little bit there. So I want to turn the drive on the kinky boost all the way off, and I want to bring the gain on the Minotaur down a little. So I very rare that I'll have both of these on at the same time. Poo Ninja, Darren, thank you. Poo Ninja, what do you monitor your sounds on? Right now I'm using my in-ears. Normally I have Yamaha HS8 monitors, which they're both on right now, but I have the volume all the way off, so we're not getting feedback and looping issues going on. But usually when I'm doing this type of thing, I found that these monitors, they're pretty transparent as far as dialing in for like a PA sound. I've had good success, and I also, a lot of times I have a head rush FR 112 on the floor to my left, which is not turned on or anything, or plugged in. But that is if you guys are looking for just a powered speaker, powered monitor for gigging, whatever you want to grab and go, or you just want to use it to break presets, that thing actually sounds, for $299 new, that thing sounds damn good. And I've been using it since I got it, like pretty much every day. So Headrush FR 112, and I did a review on my page here. Again, if you're having a good time here, hanging out, and you like what you're hearing, you like what you're seeing, and all that, maybe you like this better if I cover my face. But subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and I'm gonna try to do this a lot more. This is pretty fun. And I'm in my wonderful studio that I am very proud of. All right, so that's the high gain. I'll turn the Kinky Boost off. Now, I want to put both of those pedals. So we got the Kinky Boost here. I want to put those on the board. And I want to put the Minotaur here. You can put them wherever the hell you want to put them. But the reason I want to do this is because now I want to go back to my clean. Now see, when I went back to the clean channel, because I added these other stomps in, they're automatically on. So I want to make sure they're all off and then resave everything. Alright, so now I'll go into mode, and now I'm on my clean. That's with the Minotaur. So if you're on your clean and you want just a little bit of something, and then the Kinky Boost on the clean. And again, remember, I'm using my volume knob as mainly as the, you know, how much grit or whatever distortion I want in. So if I turn that up with the Kinky Boost off, you got pretty much you know, a rhythm channel there. Turn the Kinky Boost on. It just gives you, or gives me, just a lot of different options. Let me switch it back over to the crunch and make sure everything is off that needs to be off, and everything that is on, you see that's on, that needs to be off. All right. You got it. Pooh's got a HD 500 on his PA, then compare with the surround sound. So yeah, that's a good idea. We have a sound guy for my band. And obviously, I can't do it now because we're pretty much on lockdown. But he has, and he's a great guy, John Colassa. He has actually taken the time to set up his full PA system in his garage before, and I've gone over and I've played through it with the direct stuff just to kind of tweak it even further. So if you have access to something like that, use it. All right, so now we're on to the high gain, which is snapshot 4, and I'll rename it. Well, actually, not high gain, lead. This is the lead channel. So I got to go through all this again. Compressor off, phaser off, flanger off. I'm going to leave the Minotaur on, Kinky Boost off. Now the delay, we're going to leave it up at 30, which is what the clean was because it was more. And for my leads, I like to have that extra delay. We're going to turn the, the chorus off, and we're going to have the 3.5 decibel boost on because we want our lead to be louder. And again, you can access this gain block in any of the snapshots in stomp mode. All right, so we're going to save that. So pretty much this is the lead. I mean, so I would go from the high gain, and high gain needs to have this back on. Save. Now if I go from, I'll hit a chord or I'll hit a note, I'll go from high gain to lead. Let's try something. I'm gonna put a looper. So what I want to do is move this over. Let's see how this, like, going through a couple of these different snapshots while something else is playing. Darren wants to know what the preset sounds like with the cab I didn't use. You mean the impulse response, the paid for one? I'll try that. We can throw that in there. There's 2 of them, so we'll try to put that in there after in a little bit. So I'm gonna put a 6-switch looper, and I'm gonna put it up in the upper right. All right, let's see. So let me get out of this. I'm in high gain, so that's fine. Go back to the looper, and let's see if I play that riff that I was just playing. See if I remember how this goes. So I wanted to make sure that the levels across the board, going from high gain to lead, you'd be able to hear that lead over the high gain, and in my ears I could hear it pretty well. Like I said, there's a 3.5 dB on that, but you could sometimes I'll put it at 4 if I just want a little bit more, especially playing with a full band. So yeah, this is pretty much my setup. So the only other thing I want to do is, before we do that for Darren about using the impulse responses to see what the difference is in sound. So I'm gonna move this way over, because I want to leave this space here for the impulses and not lose that. So I like to add a second delay, as I mentioned earlier, and I'll just use a simple delay just for time's sake. Trails on. Time, I usually click the time thing there so I can tap tempo that. And let's hear what that sounds like. I'm on the high gain. Alright, so feedback, I'm going to bring that down to about 30. The mix isn't bad. Let me make a shorter tap. So that will live on each preset. It'll be off, so I have to go through each. If I go to clean, it's going to be on right now. We're going to turn that off, save it, crunch, turn it off, save it, high gain, oops, sorry about that, and lead, turn it off, save it. So then I will go to the mode, and I'll usually put that down the bottom so it's easy to access when I'm playing and ending a song and I want that big delay at the end. And I think that we have what we need here. So let's, before we wrap this up, I want to go to, I'm going to turn the cab off, and Darren had asked about the impulse responses. So we're going to put, hopefully there's enough processing in this. So I have all the ML Sound Labs Friedman pack in here, and I'm going to go to the 25 with the 57A there, and then I'm going to add, oh, actually I'm going to bring that down so I can add another one. And I'm going to put the second one I'll use the 30. Let's see, where's the 30? Come on, buddy. There it is, B30 57A. Alright, now on the 30 I will cut a little bit of the bottom end and a little bit of the high end. I'm just doing this really quickly. And back to the 25, I usually cut the high almost in half. Tires going out. So that's the clean with the impulse responses, which I prefer. The cabs sound great. I love the Friedman combination of his BE100 with his cabinet with the V30 and the greenback 25. So that's why I'm using these impulse responses. And the crunch. I don't know if I like the cab better on the crunch. Let's turn the cab back on. Oh, you know why? All right, never mind, because the cab was on. Yeah, I like the impulse responses better. Yeah, Darren, that riff I was playing, it's very Queensryche kind of Tesla, a little bit of White Snake in there. Something I wrote. There's actually a video on my channel. I don't know if it's like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I play the whole thing. There's drums and everything, and me in different screenshots playing all the parts. So if you want to check that out, it must have been 2 years ago I did that. So if you want to check that out. But yeah, the reason why this didn't sound right is because when you switch over from snapshot to snapshot, remember I had it saved with the cab on, so I didn't realize that. And so if you turn the cabinet on while you're using the impulse responses, not good. But if you turn the cab off, obviously, so I do like the impulse responses. So let's go to the high gain and turn the cab off. Something like that. But yeah, I love the impulse responses. So if you want to know what impulse response that is, let me see if I can find it. I'm just looking. Miko Sound Lab. Miko Player, Miko ML Sound Lab, and it is cab packs. On the cab packs, it is the Freeman cab pack, and he's got a sale going on right now. These are all in euro, but I think I paid like $22, $23 for the pack, and it's the Friedman 412, and he's got all kinds of mics on it. Thank you, Bobby. All kinds of mics on it. It was well worth the purchase, and check out his site. It's ml-sound-lab.com. I also have he has a plugin which is really cool, and with the plugin, if you've never seen this, you got to check this website out. With the plugin, I have the plugin; it's free, but you have to purchase the. I guess there's a special packs just for the plugin. There's a full essentials pack where he's got a whole bunch of different cabinets and mics and everything in there. There's a Bogner Uber pack, an orange pack, a Marshall's looks like a Jubilee, and yeah, the Miko Player is free. And basically, what you can do is you pull one of these into it, one of these cabin pulses into it, and it lets you move the mics all over the place. You can pull them away, put them closer, put them far away, and then you can kind of mix them together, and then you can save them as an impulse response. So you can kind of almost make your own impulse response without having to actually physically set up a cabinet and do it. I might have to buy that essentials pack because I haven't been able to try the essentials. Euro, it's 87.50 right now. It's usually 125 euro. So I don't know how long he's going to keep this going, but definitely check that out because it's really, really cool. Checking my Facebook thing here because I got. Oh, cool! I just got a notification from the guy I bought the Synergy Sin 1 off of. He is shipping it this morning. Awesome. I gotta bring my screen back up. All right, yeah. So check that out. So again, see the cab one back on that. I want to turn on. I'm on a Van Halen kick. Van Halen's the reason I play, and I've said this many times. I started on drums. I took some lessons when I was younger, and I didn't discover Van Halen until really when 5150 came out. I was really sheltered as far as music goes, and when 5150 came out, it blew my mind, and I was like, I don't want these drums anymore. I taught myself how to play guitar. First song I ever taught myself was a very easy. The first riff anyway was "Alone Again" by Dokken, because if you know it, it's you really, anybody that doesn't play guitar can do this. You're fretting one note and you just. That was the first thing I learned on guitar, and I remember getting so excited. It was like, it actually sounds like something. I'm actually making music. And I did teach myself piano keyboards. I really wish I had taken lessons. Looking back, I never took lessons. I'm self-taught, so I play a certain way, and I know I'm not playing things right technically, especially on piano. I wish I had taken lessons. I used to be able to read music, but not play and read at the same time. That was always something I wish I could go back and change that. But yeah, so I learned all the Van Halen songs on keyboards, like Dreams and Love Walks In and When It's Love and Jump, obviously. Then I went back to, old Van Halen and started really getting into it. But Eddie's the reason I play guitar. I didn't get into Bon Jovi till many years later. I was always more on the heavy side with, I was like Dio and Whitesnake and stuff like that, Ozzy. And then I started getting into the lighter side of the hard rock later on, and obviously now I do a Bon Jovi tribute, which I love doing. It's a lot of fun. We play great shows. Check my channel too. I uploaded the last show we played was February 29th. It was at a beautiful theater in Worcester, Massachusetts, the Hanover Theater, and there's a video of Wanted Dead or Alive on there. You can hear the synergy in that, and it's just a lot of fun. The crowd was great. You'll hear that. You'll hear the how loud they were, and it's just beautiful place, giant stage, awesome sound system. But if you like Bon Jovi, go on my page and check that out, and also subscribe, subscribe, and hit the bell. And I'm gonna do this, like I said again. I don't want to play too much of these songs because YouTube hits me with the copyright claims. Like nothing happens, but when my channel is able to be monetized, anytime you play one of these, these riffs that don't belong to you, you won't get monetized. But here's something. Maybe somebody, if you're watching this far, I'm having an issue with YouTube is that now I put out a CD a few years ago called Voiceless. It's on my website, richieantonelli.com. You can go on there. I don't know if I have a price on them. You can make your own price. You want to check it out, download it, whatever. But I have publishing on that, and that my publishing puts it out to like iTunes and YouTube. So anytime one of my songs is played on YouTube, I get money. Like I got like the last month I got like $9 or something like that. But the issue I'm having is that when I try to use one of my songs in one of my videos on YouTube, YouTube doesn't know that I'm the same person that actually owns the songs. So I get copyright claims on my own songs telling me that, you're not going to be monetized. And I have no way of telling YouTube that I am the same person. Like Richie Antonelli music is Richie Antonelli on YouTube. So if anybody out there knows how to get around that or contact somebody at YouTube about this, I'm going to switch the camera. Yeah, if anybody knows how to get around this and tell YouTube that, yeah, there is a copyright claim, but I am the copyright owner, I'd really appreciate that. I'm running into brick walls because every time I try to contact YouTube, can never get to a real person. It's always like help articles, and none of them tell me what I'm trying to find out. So, with that said, I'm gonna end this here. Hopefully, you enjoyed this as much as I did, and I'm gonna do it again. And most importantly, please, everybody, stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. I've been saying this on all my streams and all my videos. Take care of everybody in your family. Take care of your neighbors, elderly. We got to get through this because I really need to get out and play again. And I'm sure you people, you guys out there and girls, want to get out and do what you're supposed to be doing. Not kind of feeling isolated like we are. But if it means taking another month that we have to stay inside or stay in our homes and on our property, then we got to do it. Just don't be one of the stupid ones that are still going out and just for the hell of it. You see on the news they're breaking up coronavirus parties of like 30 people. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, it's just the stupidity and the ignorance and the lack of common sense in this world probably led us to where we are right now with this whole thing. So I'm doing my best to stay here and staying safe. My kids haven't left the house in 2 or 3 weeks, or they go out in the yard and stuff, but we're kind of isolated here, so it's not too bad. But that's all I wanted to say. Had a great time, and hopefully you like the sounds, you like the process of this. And until I do it again, subscribe, hit the bell. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's very, very important that you do that. And I want the channel to keep growing, and I'll keep putting stuff out. Thank you, Bobby. The stream is at 720p. It should have been at 1080. I'm not sure. That's what it shows on my end, unless you have to set that on your end. But either way, glad you had a good time, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. And again, stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye.